Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do a bit of a story time of when I walked at Wild Roots. Excuse my hair, I did brush it this morning, but I was wearing a hat on the way to work, which where I am now, and it kind of messed it up, and don't mind the spots here. I kind of been picking at my spots, which I'm trying to stop doing, but as I was saying, I'm going to do a bit of a story time on when I was working at Wild Roots, which is a festival that happened in northwest of Ireland. Last year in 2022 was the first year it actually ever happened. This Wild Roots never was on before until last year. I think it's going on again this year. I think it was start of June last year when it was on, and I was working there. But so I just can't tell if my phone's kind of moving a little bit or not. So I just moved it a bit forward, so didn't see too much of the above me, if that makes sense. But as I was saying, I was working at Wild Roots, and I literally, like a week before it was on, my dad asked me if I wanted to work there because one of his friends that he knows was working there, and he was able to get him in for work, and my dad said that I could go in and work, and he asked his friend if I could come in to do a bit of work in what we were doing. At first I thought it was told it was litter picking, doing that around the festival. And then when we got that, it ended up being filling up the generators with diesel, and I think so Thursday my dad had another friend who was doing the kind of DJing kind of thing there over the weekend, so he's like on Thursday he was helping his friend that was doing some DJing, whatever, at the festival, bringing some of the stuff over to it. Just he was doing it all over like every night. He was in it's like kind of a castle, one kind of church looking thing from the olden days that his friend was playing in, and he was doing that pretty much all on the weekend. Had a few other people he knew playing on the decks or whatever, and my dad was helping him to bring some stuff that he wanted to decorate inside the wooden little building that he was in, that he was playing in. That day he was helping since 9 o'clock. Then about 12 he came back home, picked me up. It's about 20 minutes drive from where we live, where the festival's happening. So about 12 he came back. I went in to help them set up as well. Then about 6 o'clock that evening, the person my dad's other friend who was talking about, who was asking if my dad wanted to work there. and said about me getting in with him. We went to see him to see what we were doing. We end up, as I said, we end up actually filling the, I know what it's called, but the generators. I knew, I was trying to figure out that word. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't figure out what, or get myself to say it. Generators. And we'd like this kind of buggy thing. I don't know what it's called. That was, my dad was mostly driving when I was working with him. But on Thursday, around 6 o'clock at night, we went to meet up with it. My dad's friend. So there's like a few other people walking that I knew as well. Everybody who's walking. There's about there's me and my dad and 4 other people walking, filling up the generators. So we did it in shifts, but only my dad and one other person had full license, and to drive the buggy things, what do they call them? You had full license, so it's only, I think my dad had the full license. I think maybe one other person might have, like my dad and somebody else had a full license. Maybe one other person may have a full license. I'm not 100% sure, but he's about 24, 25. I think I know he does drive, but I don't know if it's a full license or a lawn upon it. But you have to have a full license to drive the buggy thing. And with the buggy, at the end of it, we was towing this, my dad was calling it a Bowser, that was filled with diesel that we had to use to fill up the generators. And the generators was the thing that was keep the whole festival going, pretty much, because if we just everything was using generators, even the stages, absolutely everything that was using electric was using generators and needed diesel. But get more into the story time thing. But the night when was being shown that night what we to do, the Bowser kept on, like, when you pull the pump, it's like a little gas, you feel it at the end of it. Sorry, at the end, I can't really show you properly. I was trying to show you, but it's like hands was kind of outside of the camera thing. But at the end, not the bit that's attached to the buggy bit, but at the other end, there's a little door bit. There's like a bit, about that much space at the end, just enough for a car battery and the hose. Is it a hose? Kind of like a thing that you pull out and use the pump and pump the stuff into the generators. I can't remember what it's called. I just don't call it a pump to be easier instead of trying to find out or figure out what it's called. Every time you like go at first, you have to like with the car battery at the end, it's keeping it going. There's like, if you've seen a car battery, there's like 2 thick metal circles sticking out of it, and we had to have these 2 clips on, but whenever we wasn't using the pump, we had to take one of them off, and when we was using it, we had to put the clip back on. It's kind of almost like a jump leads kind of clipper things that was on them, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm not really showing that well with my hands. But sometimes we'll like put the little clipper onto it and start using the pump. But as soon as you release the pump thing and stop it making pouring out or pulling out the diesel, and if the generators need a little bit more, and you try to pull at like the little bit that you get the diesel out, it won't work. It kept doing that. We was doing that until like it's from 6 p.m. until about 10:30, maybe nearly 11 p.m. I think. So for like 5 hours, it kept doing that. My dad kept on saying you need a new Bowser, or need to get fixed or a spare Bowser, because it's like kind of you have to mess around with it constantly, and it wasn't working quite well, if that makes sense. Just as I said, the pump sometimes won't work if you sometimes it won't work, like I described before. And then that's when that night when we was showing, that's when everybody was who was doing that job was there at once. And then my dad's friend saying, oh, look, do it in shifts, like from one person do it, like 2 people doing it from like 9 till like 4 or something like that, 9 till 4. Then another 2 people do it 4 till like 12, or well, I can't remember how many. Well, trying to make it even, where there's like 3, what's it called? 3 people, not 3 people, 3 different shifts, kind of almost the whole 24-hour thing. Sorry, I'm sniffing a lot. Let's see, there's my dad that was driving, this other guy that was walking there, and my dad's friend who got us the job. Them 3 people, I can't remember. There's like 3 people that was driving, so technically 3 shift kind of things. One in the morning till like afternoon, and until the afternoonish, and then another one from like when the afternoon was finished until like about midnight or 1 or 2ish. Then that whole night another shift was on, then until 9. Sorry if that doesn't make sense. But the next day, me and my dad, on Friday, we started at 9. Me and my dad, over the weekend, me and him started at 9, so we didn't really rotate when we were walking, me and him, but the other ones were, the other 2 shifts, that's from the evening till like midnight, and the night shift, then the people's were, and them ones shifted about. Just because, I think mostly because my dad, he drove home every night as it's 20 minutes away, and he had animals to feed as well in the morning, so kind of easier for him to walk in the mornings, and I just walked with him, just as like I did know the other people there, but it's just easier for me for kind of walking with my dad, as I kind of know, like obviously like more comfortable probably walking with him than everybody else. Just like I'm kind of quiet and I don't really talk to people, at least with my dad I can talk to, there's like random crap sometimes with them. But as I was saying, Monday morning at 9 o'clock, me and my dad, just before 9 o'clock, we got up about 7 or something like that, got ready and got in at like 9 o'clock to start walking. The Bowser was pretty much completely empty of diesel, so when we got there at 9 o'clock, we didn't go to walk straight away. my dad's friend wasn't. It's not like one of them bosses that's like, okay, you have to, once you're at work, you have to go straight to work. He's kind of relaxed with it. He doesn't mind you taking your time. But yeah, when we got that 9, we didn't actually technically really start work as soon as we got there, even though we were meant to start at 9. The person who's doing the night shift, my dad was talking to him for a little bit, for like half an hour. About 9:30, we decided to try to like fill up the Bowser, and the Bowser took an hour to fill, which is like where the diesel was coming out of. It's like this big box with wire, big thick bars around it. Sorry, and the bit at the bottom, it's like a big plastic 1 ton or something like that. I don't know how much it felt, like over 1,000 liters maybe in it. This plastic container with big bars around it in a kind of a cage, and at the bottom there's a bit where there's like thing that you get the diesel out into the Bowser. You have to put this like long, I can't remember what it's called, it's plastic and round and it's long, and sorry, I'm not really good at describing, but we had to use that thing that was filled with diesel, and when the little bit that you get, the part that you get the diesel from that where the diesel is into the Bowser, it was like level to the Bowser, so it would run slow. Just you needed it to go kind of down, so it kind of runs a bit quicker. If that makes sense, that's what my dad was saying. But it took about an hour, and my dad was complaining the night before we actually started properly working about I think I might have mentioned this, I can't remember this, why I mention it now, just in case I didn't. The night before, when it was being shown what we had to do and where we had to go to fill up the generators, he kept on saying you need a new Bowser, a spare one, just in case. Just like I said, the whole festival was run, anything with electric was run on generators, and the Bowser just kept on like the pipe thing wasn't working properly sometimes. But like once, it doesn't go back to when we was walking on Friday, so I'm going back and forth a little bit. But we was like filling the Bowser, took an hour. Then we started going around filling up the generators. We're going to try and make sure we're going around, make sure everything's full. Even if they were pretty much full, we made sure that, for the next time, what we would do is like in the morning, it's like go around, fill them up. Then before we would just drive around for a couple of hours, making sure stuff are filled. And then sometimes we'll just drive around just a little bit, just to waste a bit of time. And then before we leave, we would like actually fill up all the generators to make sure, at least we knew all of them were filled for the next people who can tell then that we already filled everything up. But back to the start of Monday morning, at 10:30, we started to, I'm okay, sorry about being all over the place as well. At 10:30 we started when we finished filling up the Bowser, we started going around and we filled up all the generators. Then on our way back, we was just at one more generator that needed, maybe there's like at last generator, I think there might have been like 2 more generators that needed to be filled. But yeah, we were like kind of going to the second last one, I think. And this is about 11:30, I think. And my dad was obviously driving the buggy thing, and I was just sitting beside him, and I looked behind and I said, "There's smoke." And my dad stopped. Oh no, he stopped. Sorry, he stopped, and we was at the second last generator to fill up, and he was on his phone, and I looked back and I said, "There's smoke." We were always parked, but he wasn't driving. I thought for a second I thought he was driving, but we was already parked and ready to do the generator, the second last one. Like I said, I looked behind and I saw the smoke from the Bowser at the back, and I said that there's smoke, and my dad was on the phone, and he turned, and then we opened, like mostly my dad opened it, and thick, like black, he kind of really dark grey smoke, just thick, can't see through it, just poured out of the back of the Bowser. And what my dad did was he just left the back door open and drove back. It's literally just across where we usually walk, where the Bowser usually is. So we just drove a little bit further, and then my dad was like kind of swearing a lot, and it kept saying, "I told you that you need a new one. This one's fucked." And there's like people looking at it, checking on it. The electric wiring was started like to burn. What happened? That's why there's like a load of back smoke, because of there's the wiring or the electric stuff started to set on fire. And yeah, my dad was like kept on saying, I told you need it last night, the night when we were being shown what to do, that we needed a new one. Also, I've got to mention that the Bowser was borrowed off a farmer, and the Bowser was 15 years old. And if anybody knows, in Ireland, farmers kind of probably run their stuff to the ground. I don't know if they, I think like it's like a 15-year-old Bowser thing, and it's like they only had one of them to run the whole festival. It's like kind of, I found a bit ridiculous, because it's the only one thing that's like me, my dad, and the other people working there were only the ones that were technically keeping the festival going. And yeah, and there's like this one Bowser is kept on fucking up and not walking properly. Trying to think of what else. I think that's it for the story time. That's all I can think of right now. So that's it. See you in the next video. Bye.